I'm Victor. I'm here at ERCmarket in Belgium to do a review of the RJX Hobby Caos 330 quadcopter. What I'll try and cover during this review is what you get in the box, an overview of the key features of the aircraft, and also I'll do a flight test at the end so you can see a little bit about how it handles and flies. Towards the end of the video I'll also give some information about the weight, the dimensions, etc., which I'll mention during the video itself, and also information of course about how you can order this particular model or its other version from ERCmarket. So ERCmarket, based in Belgium, also able to provide you technical advice pre-sales or post-sales, and can give you as much help as you need in trying to purchase this or any other type of aircraft. I'll also try and maybe mention one or two spares or components which I think it could be useful to consider if you're going to buy something like this. So the Caos 330 from RJX Hobby is a 330 size quadcopter, slightly larger than the typical 250 size FPV quad. It is of course designed for FPV racing, but you don't have to do it just for FPV. You can use it without the goggles and just fly it as a quadcopter on its own. It comes as a basic frame where you do not get the motors and you do not get the electronics, etc. It's up to you to decide which electronic components you want to use in it. Or it does come as a sort of ready-to-fly version with exclusion of the receiver, which you're obviously going to choose according to the transmitter that you've got. So it does come with another version whereby you get the motors, the ESCs, the circuit board inside, etc. So those are the two versions that it's available as. Both of them need assembly in either case. In this particular version we've got a pre-assembled model here, which is the green version, the green with equipment version, which came with the motors, the ESCs and lights, etc. So how, well, if I start from the front, in fact what you've got up front is of course a camera. Then you've got the motors on each arm. The ESCs in this case are inside of the frame. At the rear you've got a cable which is for connecting obviously the battery, and a very bright light. I can probably just show you the brightness of the light by plugging in this battery, and there you'll see an indication of just how bright that rear light is. So quite good if you want to do FPV flying at dusk or in a car park or something like that. You will not lose sight of this type of quadcopter. So below the canopy, which simply removes by unscrewing this knurled knob here, and you just pop it off from the two brackets. You've obviously got space for a battery here, and I'll give you the dimensions about that, and space for a receiver as well. Up front you've got the camera, and below you can obviously have space for your ESCs, etc. It is quite a rigid quadcopter. It's got carbon fibre type arms, very strong, and one of the good benefits about this particular quadcopter is that with the upper canopy and lower canopy on, it is very aesthetically pleasing. There are no external parts on show, not a lot of wires and things, so it is quite nicely designed from that perspective. It looks very good in the air. What I can also say about this particular version is that it has got slightly non-standard propellers on here. These are 6x4.5 props rather than the 5.3 which come as standard. These are somewhat more rigid than the standard props, but it does of course fly perfectly well with the standard props that come with it. At the back here you've got the FPV transmitter and a camera which have been added onto this particular model, which do not come as standard in the basic kit, which has the electronics and other parts but not those two components. Okay, that's it for now, and in the next part I'll just explain to you a bit more about the detailed specification and what's in the box. So what you actually get inside the box when you order one of these, depending on which kit you buy. I said either you buy the basic frame, which has got none of the electronics, or you buy the slightly upgraded version which comes with the motors, the ESCs, the circuit board which provides it with power, etc. What you get inside the box specifically therefore is that the frame in the more advanced box. You get the flight controller, which is a CC3D, you get 4 motors, you get 4 ESCs, you get 4 propellers which are the 5.3s. You also get various accessories like the Velcro band, the battery connector lead and things like that. What you don't get in either of the kits is the FPV transmitter, the camera or the light which has been added onto the rear of here. However, all of those additional components are available from ERCmarket and their contact details are at the end of the video. So as I said before, really quite a nice frame. Very strong, very robust, aesthetically very pleasing. The components are nicely tucked away inside this frame, and really I think it's definitely a good investment for somebody trying to get into the FPV, and the fact that it's a slightly larger frame, the 330 frame rather than 250, probably gives you a little bit more options in terms of more powerful motors and a bit more speed if you want to do that. In addition to what we have here, obviously you need to have a radio transmitter, you need to have a battery to go into the rear compartment. The battery compartment, as I've measured it underneath the hood here, allows you to put in a battery which is 3 centimeters high, 4 centimeters wide and about 10 centimeters long, just fitting in this space here. So you need to keep that in mind when you're ordering your batteries, which again, of course, you can get from ERCmarket. Okay, that's it for now. The next step is to do the flight test, and I'll give you some feedback on about just how this handles in the air and how I found it to fly.